viewers, and welcome to another episode of Update on Update, which give an update on recent changes on a rulebook or supplement. In this episode, Field Guide to Suldan, a homebrew supplement for Lancer, had some recent changes. So, all we will focus in this episode is just the changes to the mech, since that's all I talked about the homebrew field guide so far, which just leaves the changes for these 6 mechs. As for Worden and Comet, I already wrote the video based on the latest edition, so there's no need to mention them. Anyway, let's go. First up, Charioteer bonuses. Crash bars are no longer required to be destroyed to save a soon-to-be destroyed weapon or system, and emergency reactor override is no longer a reaction but instead just an immediate movement that also ignores engagement and reaction now. These changes are because crash bars kinda need a buff, and so that emergency reactor override no longer impedes other defensive reactions like brace or even need reaction at all. Now, let's actually move on to Charioteer. For its stat, its base system point is increased to 8 to compensate for its fragile frame. Bomblet dispenser now works with boost only, so you can't cover the entire battlefield in minefield. Glide rollers are once per round now to prevent people from moving across the entire map in one turn multiple times. Deployable reconnaissance carbine no longer has limited shots but now costs 2 SP, a reasonable trade-off. Finally, variable geometry hull now adds +2 space move to boost instead of just +2 speed to balance it with mobility boosting systems like ramjet or integrated nerve weave. Next mech, Percival. Crashing avalanche module gets its SP cost decreased from 2 to 1 because it's just a nice grappling system to have. Shadow Fist is just plain remade. Isolation code now causes the target to not have line of sight to allies that aren't right next to them, and also makes them unable to benefit from allied system, abilities, or tech actions. This essentially completely isolates the target from any allied aid. Static Void instead makes the target unable to draw line of sight further than you, so the closer you are, the better it works. The target can still see you no matter what though. Both effects last under the end of their next turn. Serpent_Fang has massive change to Liminal Cascade. Instead of dealing bonus damage, hitting a target with Cascade Mark after consuming it will teleport them 3 spaces away like some goddamn Kung Fu techno magic, and also knock them prone if they failed a system save, allowing you to forcefully move the target no matter what. This is the most awesome change I have read in this new edition so far. Dipping Swallow module has its SP reduced from 3 to 2, the 1 space movement now ignores engagement and reaction, and the system no longer refunds brace reaction, but still ignores the negative effect of brace. It's a necessary nerf, and it's still quite powerful anyway. Finally, Heartchatter V5 Palm has a change to discharge, decreasing the heat it gives from 2 to 1. Giving 2 heat on a miss is quite good already along with the damage, so the nerf is expected. Third mech in the list, Kalista. Kalista's core power, Berserker Drive, now gives bonus damage once per round only, but now works with any melee attack, meaning you can now choke the life out of people with grapple. Tiger Claws are no longer reliable, as demonstrated in a rather recent game. Being able to fight even with jammed is already pretty damn good. Agaun class NHP now works with checks and saves, so it's all good. Fourth mech in the list, Kalarani. Kalarani's integrated weapon, the Typhoon Airburst Projector, now has 2 different modes. The original Airburst mode is now just a normal weapon, while the short-ranged close-in defense mode can be used with barrage as a free action and also ignore engaged status. This change had to be made because otherwise the Typhoon just gets ridiculously powerful. Spider Mines is renamed as Spider Charges and now works differently. It now has 2 different modes, Sentry Grenade and Spider Mine. With Sentry Grenade, you can throw it at object, which attaches automatically, or people, which require them to fail a system save, which also gives them 2 explosive damage as the grenade attaches itself to them. The grenade obviously follows them no matter where they go afterward. For once per turn, when a hostile character besides the stuck target starts their turn within range 2 of the grenade explodes and shoots at them, dealing 1d6 plus 3 explosive damage and knocking them prone if they failed a system save, half damage only if they pass. Any undetonated grenade just disarms at the end of the scene. As for Spider Mine, the new one, you just place it like any other mine. With a protocol, you can then make the spider mine moves 3 spaces towards the nearest hostile within your sensor range. If multiple characters are at equal distance, you get to choose which one gets the bomb. The spider mine still treats all vertical and overhanging surfaces as flat ground for the purpose of movement like a real spider. Then, either by having a hostile character moving close or over it, or by having the spider mine literally walks onto the target, the spider mine explodes, dealing 2d6 explosive damage to everyone in burst 2 if they failed a systems save, half on a success. So yeah, spider charges now have even more tactical flexibility, while also being less complicated, and don't get even more bonus from drone commander talent, which makes it more balanced. All in all, welcoming changes. Finally, there's the saboteur drone. Breach effect has been completely reworked. The target now has to pass a hull save or get completely shredded until the end of their next turn, taking 2 AP kinetic damage on success. If the target has 1 structure left and is also at half health or less, then you should know what's going to happen. This obviously makes the instant death mechanic a lot simpler while also preventing people from just instantly killing the boss out of sheer luck, while still giving the effects some general utility. Shred is always welcomed. Next in the list, Sagittarius. The maximum number of specialized arrows of the same type for the integrated Black Jacket combat bow is reduced from 3 to 2, because people just don't diversify their loadout enough. Mute Charge now deals energy damage, Flechette Bolt is now Fragmentation Bolt and now deals explosive damage in Blast 1 zone within range 10. And for its core power, EMP Capacitor deals energy damage now, and Fuel Air Explosive has a massive change. It now deals no damage on hit, still create a Blast 2 zone of volatile fuel within range 10, except now you detonates the field as a free action. This caused everyone within the zone to take 2d6 explosive damage and get knocked prone if they failed the hull save, half damage only if they passed. Each turn you passed without detonating the fuel, however, it continued to disperse. At the start of your next turn after attacking, the area grew to Blast 3, at another start of your next turn, the damage becomes 3d6. This field dissipates at the end of the scene. These changes now allows the fuel air explosive shot to be detonated immediately, causing immediate damage, but waiting for it to saturate will make it even more powerful, so it's a trade-off. And finally, Seeker Flock get reliable 4 to the bow. As for the system, Shroud Missile now has a self-heat cost of 1, compared to other main weapon with cover-giving mechanic, it kinda needed a bit of a cost. Onto hollow charges, Spectre Grenades now also makes the target get slowed on failed save, just to give it a bit more bonus. And finally, the last mech to list the changes on, Afreight. So, first, it has 2 armor now. As for its core passive, the co-location mark is no longer limited by sensor range upon being triggered as a reaction, it also has 2 effect options now. One is the original with no change, the other allows Afreight to use their Overwatch reaction. There's also a change to Omnipresence, each time Afreight teleports right next to an ally using the core power, it can give them a co-location mark, and it can give as many as it has allies. These changes basically make Afreight even more sticky than before, to the point that even its allies might find it unbearably close. As for its system, Spatial Threader's synchronicity now specifically could only be used on allies. How the fuck could anyone even use bolster on enemies anyway? Slipgun is now unique, and its heat cost is removed, people probably abused this weapon a bit too much. For Entanglement Leash, Mobius Anchor has been completely reworked. On hit, the target is now immobilized until they can pass a system save at the end of their turn. The effect also ends if you attack, force saves, or move without teleporting. This change is because some mechs could just ignore jamming, so it got changed. Q-Blade's threat is increased from 1d3 to 1d3 plus 1, but its threat cannot be modified by anything anymore. I guess this is to prevent people from just teleporting wildly by just slapping threat extender on it, but if you are asking, this still work, because it doesn't modify the threat at all. And finally, IBG class NHP's Spatial Echo now has 5 health points, so it's far more survivable. It also doesn't eat any self-heat cost anymore, so it's all good. Anyway, that's all on changes with the Field Guide to Suldan Homebrew supplement. I hope all of you enjoyed this amazing Homebrew Field Guide as much as I did, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell button. If you really want to support my channel, you could visit my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.